Thanks, Ryan. So yeah, just to kind of highlight what Ryan was talking about, I know that PBCS and Hyperion planning is not often seen as a tool set that can really be used with operational modeling. And again, just with some of the functionality that specifically that PBCS has, you know, that isn't really the reality for what the tool set can offer. So a lot of those new features really make the PBCS option a reality for areas outside of finance. And with that, even if we do have a great tool for those operational modeling and that planning, the reality is we're very likely going to need to integrate that with finance and financial reporting. That's the reality. If the models cannot easily integrate with that other data set, it's going to be difficult to maintain that long term. So we'll talk about the four main options today that you have for that. So them being manual loads and exports, data management, EPM Automate, and FDMEE. All of them are available for you, so you can technically use all of them with your solution. They have pros and cons with each of them, and we'll cover those here today. So with manual loads and exports, this is something only available in PBCS. It's all done through the simplified interface, and essentially what you're doing is you're enabling the system to create flat file-based data exports and imports. They can be utilized for both your data within your application and also your metadata. And so some other pros with this too is it's going to be free. So this comes with your PBCS subscription. You're going to have that. The process can be automated to both export and import these files. Some cons to this process here is the format is not ideal. So you know these flat files that are coming out, there's not going to be a way to modify those. So they're going to come out. They're either going to be tab or comma delimited. I mean, we've all worked with files like that. There's not going to be a lot of forgiveness around what you're going to be exporting. The other cons is there's going to be no mapping, validation, or transformation. You're going to set up the scope for what you want to export or import, and it is just going to run that every time. So that there's no really changing that unless you create a new process for those loads. And then the other con is even though the process can be automated, it can be a difficult process to set up. The execution of that spans multiple screens. And again, if that automation ever needs to be modified in some way, you're going to have to repeat those steps. So another tool that we have, and again, this is a free tool with your subscription, is going to be EPM Automate. And this is really going to be your do-it-all automation utility. So this, again, will be able to load data for both your data and metadata. It will be able to do things like execute calculations. Many of those other things that need to be automated have been automated on-prem. This is really the tool that's going to do that. So the pros to this, besides it being free, because again, this is a free tool that you get with the software, which is downloaded very similarly like SmartView, so you can install it locally on an administrator machine, or you could even set up if you wanted to have a centralized maybe server with maybe like one CPU, very limited memory just to run the tool to hold your automation. It's also available for that. And it's very easily automated. So we see down there in the cons that it's a command line tool. But because it is just a command line tool, it makes it very easy to automate within any scripting. So it's available in both Linux and Windows. So really any type of scripting you would feel comfortable working with this tool, it's going to be very easily incorporated into that. Because it's so easily incorporated in automation, it's easily can be used in conjunction of other processes. So if you have another process that's going to maybe create the file that you're going to load in using this EPM Automate tool, it's very easy to hook in with some of those other automated processes and things like that. And again, you can do basically anything within this. So export data, import data, execute business rules, update substitution variables. I mean, you're really limitless with what you can do with this. So it really is your one-stop shop from an automation standpoint. So the cons with this process is, again, like I said, it's a command line tool. So there's no friendly interface that you get to work with. You know, if you want to load a file into your system, you're going to have to either know the command line language or have scripts set up to do that. There is no friendly interface, you know, with like the rest of planning has with it. Another con, like the manual loads and exports, is there's no mapping, validation, or transformations. Basically, it's going to take the file as is, and it's going to attempt to load it into your application as is. There's nothing else that this tool would be able to do with that. Our third option here is going to be data management. This is a little bit more powerful tool that we have here in many ways. Let's go right to the pros and cons side here. So again, this is going to be a free tool that you have by purchasing PBCS. And really where it's going to be more powerful for us is it is going to have mapping and validation engine included in it. So a lot of times that is something that we're going to need within our operational reporting, where we're going to need to be able to possibly map an account from one level to a different level to be able to have it fit within our operational planning set. This is really the tool that you're going to have with that. And then on top of that, if you do have data at a level that does not exist within finance, you would be able to use this data management to map it into something that's going to fit within that finance realm. There is automation available with the data management. As we see down below, it's not going to be an all-encompassing. There will be things that will happen. So getting down to the cons, even though there is automation available, it's only going to be for that load process. So if you would need to run a business rule or upload the file that actually needs to put in there, there's no automation within this tool that would be able to incorporate with that, and it can be difficult to incorporate the data management process with that. Some other cons is this isn't going to get data out of your system. This is really a tool used to the tool is going to be used to map data in. And you can only import data using this tool from a very specified location that you let know for PBCS. So it's called an inbox outbox, and all consumption of all data must first be staged in that location to be able to be used within our applications. Finally, here we have FDMEE, which really is Oracle's future for how they want all organizations to interact with their PBCS models. So what the diagram here is showing is FDMEE in the middle, and really what it is, it's a one-stop shop to really hook up any source to any target. That's what if you remember one thing about FDMEE, it's any source, any target. So if you have flat files that are on-prem, or you have on-prem applications or GL structures or something like that, you can use FDMEE to hook up with your cloud applications, and it doesn't even have to be on-prem things as well. So if, let's say, you have a couple different instances of cloud applications, you can also hook them up through this as well. So really, it's Oracle's future, and it's what, within the cloud to really have much more options as far as how to integrate with your cloud systems. So again, the pro is it's that single hub to go to and from Hyperion at any source, any target. Something to remember with that, it's going to do there. Obviously, it's cloud capable, being any source, any target. Much like with the data management that we just talked about, it has a very powerful mapping and validation process as well. So again, if you need transformation from your source and target, it handles that very well, and it's really one of the fortes of FDMEE. Like I said, it's Oracle's strategic direction, and something that's not on here as well, FDMEE will also give you drill-through capabilities. So if you enable it, you can allow right from your cloud application, so your operational model, let's say that you want to be able to drill back into contract level detail that's just too granular for anything you'd be able to plan on a monthly basis. You'd still be able to set this tool up to look back, so with a simple double click by an end user, they would be able to pull up a contract or drill back into tables that have more detail and give them that information to help them in their plan process. So really the two big cons here with FDMEE is it is not free. So you will have to purchase separate licenses for this product. And the other thing as well is it's not offered as a cloud service. So you either need to have the ability to purchase software and host it on-prem, or work with another provider to kind of use it as a cloud service. So for example, eCapital Advisors has an AWS service that you can contact. There's many others out there as well that will host this service for you. But Oracle does not have an offering like that, like it does for Hyperion.